Holy shit. Wait, what? This is the highest score I've ever seen on any build. Hello, chat. Oh, I forgot to turn my light on. Whoops. There we go. My secret almost exposed. The display behind me doesn't actually light up. I just use a photography light. It's build review night. It's nice to see everyone. I know quite a few of you submitted builds, and we're going to be reviewing all of them. Yes, I am doing every single build that was submitted in this channel today, live on stream. The builds that we had submitted today all came from the wonderful website Fribbels. This is not a sponsor. I'm just plugging a fantastic tool that literally anybody who cares about builds in HSR should be utilizing. It formats your builds in a way where it shows your combat stats. You can place in the characters you have in the Eidolon investments, and it'll give you rankings based on your build in its entirety, what you're running them with, and the teammates you have as well, along with the pieces being individually scored. The main benefit of this is being able to see where you can improve, because let's say my Castorice here was at like 90 crit rate. I would want her to be at 100 because she's a multi-hit character, right? She has a lot of hits in her kit, and if I'm only hitting 9 out of 10 of those being crits, I'm going to miss a lot of crits, and so I'd want to improve that part of my build and other things as well. It's just a great tool, and I'm really glad that everybody that submitted builds today followed the instructions to use Fribbels to submit their builds, because it'll make it 10 times easier for me to give you a proper grading and to give you proper advice. So I think we will probably get started. Our first entry is from YinQiao. We're going to be starting off with their Jade submission that they gave. Right off the bat, you can see that every build on Fribbels has a ranking. This one is WTF, which stands for, we all know what it stands for. It means it's a solid build. It's a good build. The ranking scale on Fribbels is a little skewed to what you would normally see in most like academic settings, because it has letter grades. You know, it goes F, D, C, B, A, and like you would think an A is good, but an A on Fribbels really is not that good. It's actually like, it's literally like middle of the pack, because then there's rankings afterwards of S, SS, SSS, and then WTF, and there's pluses for all of these, and then there's AEON, which is like the pinnacle of what your build can be, and there's another 50% on that, just which is insane build territory. So to have a WTF ranking is quite good. So we're going to take a look at their individual pieces here first, along with their ratio. Jade is usually played slow, so having no speed really isn't a big deal. In fact, you could even run her on the slow set. I actually quite like the slow set on her, especially if you're not against a quantum weak enemy, which is the only weakness that these quantum set has. But piece by piece, we have one dead stat here, but it went into flat attack, so it's not too bad. We've got a really nice 4-liner here where it went all into good stats. The effect is a little unfortunate, but she doesn't really need anything else. You know, a flat attack isn't possible here because it's gloves, so really this is about as good as a piece is going to get. Maybe some more roll value would be nice, but I don't think it needs it. It's a solid piece. Solid body. Very good boots with one dead roll. She has a quantum orb, which I do like to see, and all 5 rolls went into crit damage. That is insane. That is a lot of crit damage on one piece. And of course, we have an attack percent rope with 2 dead rolls, so this would probably be the weakest piece here. I do like this planner set on her. You can run her on, oh god, what's it called? Sigonia, but I would really only recommend that in Pure Fiction. Outside of Pure Fiction, I think that set is pretty mid, and I don't like how long it takes to ramp up, so I think this is probably the best generalist planner set that you can run on Jade, and I think this is a solid build all around. You know, you're not missing anything here. I don't think you would have to do anything else to this to improve it. It's very strong. The only thing I would say is that if you want to improve it because you love Jade, then keep working towards it. Overall, I think it's a really, really solid build. On the left, maybe? Yeah, I could do that actually. Here, that's a good idea. Let me do that. Woo! I'm playing Borderlands and that orb shocked me to the point of getting killed. Yeah, it's a very, very good orb. I don't think I have a single piece where it's 5 into the same crit stat. If I spend this long at every build, we're going to be here all night. So let me move on. Next, we have AxoTheLotl. Here are the characters I'd like help with in order of what the site says was the worst to best. I don't know. I just feel like there's something more I could be doing, especially with my Anoxa and Ashveil. BT dubs, I am a low spender, but I haven't spent anything since 3.8. Advise me like I'm free to play, not looking to clear anomaly arbitration, just looking to make my teams and builds better overall. I think the best scale to use is MOC. Let's take a look and see what we have. So immediately, anytime you see a letter grade that is this low, you can probably assume that there's something wrong with the build. So let's take a look through these pieces and see what we have here. Right away, just from your combat stats, I can see your crit rate is really low. You're missing crits more than 1/4 of the time, which is a lot on Ashveil because his follow-up attacks are actually multi-hit. It's not just one hit like most follow-up characters. So those extra procs on those follow-ups are going to be missing crits, and you're going to be missing out on a lot of damage because of that. I would honestly recommend switching to a crit rate body because you are really low on crit rate here. You're only at 43 out of combat, and like it shows here, 73 in combat. So yeah, I would definitely recommend going to a crit rate body if you can, because that would be a significant upgrade just right off the bat. Along with that, as we can see on the boots, we are missing most of these rolls into useful stats. We only actually have 2 useful stats here. We don't even have crit rate, which makes sense because you're pretty low on the crit rate on this build. So we had 1 dead roll into HP percent, and then 2, which are like half dead rolls, went into flat attack. You know, flat attack's not really where you want them to be going because it's a lot less valuable than attack percent. So we definitely missed quite a bit of our value in that piece, and it started off sort of meh as it was. Looks like you had a 4-liner here. 3 went into crit and then 2 missed. This one's not too bad. You can always improve your hat and your gloves because they're so easy to farm. But even still, I think this is one of your better pieces that I've seen so far. So I wouldn't say this one's that bad. Your gloves here went 3 into speed and 2 into break effect. So we didn't hit crit at all, and we don't have crit rate on them. What is your combat speed? 145.7. I'm assuming you're running a -1 Sunday here. Did you put Sunday in your builds? No, it's Phainon. Okay. If you're not running a -1 Sunday, I would highly advise doing that with Ashveil so you can get more actions with him, make better use of his kit, and just get your ults up more frequently. Then let's look at the planners. Missed crit entirely on this as well. You do have the right main stat, which is good, but if you do have an attack percent orb, I would actually advise using that. There also are just other planner sets you can use as well. I know this is the new one and this is his best in slot, but you don't have to use this set if you don't have good pieces on it, which I wouldn't say that this orb is very good because you're missing most of your value here. You know, the 2 attack percent rolls are nice, but you're missing out on a lot of crit value you could have if you had 2 crit stats and if you rolled into them, and he doesn't use the effect or effect hit rate. And then for your regen rope, regen is fine on Ashveil. I don't actually dislike it. I don't think you need it, especially if you're running him with Sunday, but I'm also not against it. You know, you have a solid amount of attack in combat, so you could really make an argument for either, and I'm not going to criticize either one. I think either one is fine. Your rolls are completely even here. This is what we call a Thanos piece. You don't have 2 crit again on here, but you did roll into speed, attack percent, and crit rate once each, which is not bad. You're getting most of your value in this piece, minus the fact that you have flat defense and it rolled into it once, but it's not a bad rope, especially because it's an energy regen rope, and those are really hard to farm. So I would mainly focus right now on getting a stronger 4-piece and getting more crit rate because you are severely lacking crit rate at the moment. You're going to be missing a lot of crits in combat and just missing out on damage because of that. And your planners, I would see if you have any other sets that Ashveil can use, like Inert Salsado or the other follow-up set that I'm forgetting the name of. I know YinQiao had it on their build. This set, I forget what it's called. Someone wants to tell me. That follow-up set as well that you can use. And so you just have options, and then you might not be as hard-pressed to improve your build quickly, and then you can work on farming this one over time if you want to move him back over to it. Next up, we have JC and their Saber. This is the only character they have E6 in Honkai Star Rail, so we have to expect that they have put all of their love into this character. Let's tell you what we are dealing with here. Right off the bat, you are at 100% crit rate in combat with only a 0.3 overcap, so that is very good. That's about as good as it can get. That's literally just like a roll value difference, so very good there. Solid amount of crit damage and a very large amount of damage percent. 142 speed. I imagine you're probably running your Sunday -1 under that. You have a little bit more speed than I would like in that setup because you're like a little bit off of a soft threshold. You're 0.3 off of a soft threshold, and then obviously 133.4 is like an actual threshold that you could be aiming for, but there's not really a wrong thing. There's nothing wrong with having more speed. So long as your Sunday is 1 under that or like 2 under that, so that you're getting full value from him being able to immediately advance her. So I think that's fine as long as you're utilizing Sunday speed properly. I wish Fribbels could show me the Sunday speed. That would be so helpful. Let's take a look at your pieces though. Very solid hat. You only have 1 dead roll and you have 3 useful stats here. It was a 4-liner, so this is a solid piece. Gloves here, which is actually a bracelet. We are missing crit rate here, but you actually don't need it because you're at 100% already, so it doesn't matter. So the crit damage rolls here, they're actually pretty nice. The 1 dead roll into HP is a little unfortunate, but like I said before, the only thing you'd really want to be hitting is crit damage, unless you were trying to hit like a 160 speed Saber with like a 161 Saber with a 160 Sunday. That would be kind of crazy. I've never seen that actually. Yeah, you don't need the speed roll there. The only useful roll this could go into is crit damage, so I don't really have a nitpick there. You know, the Fribbels says it's an A+ piece. It's not very good, but honestly, for your build, I'd say this piece is pretty solid because your build is well-rounded with the 100% crit rate. You do have a crit damage body as well. 3 useful stats, and we got 1 roll into each of them with 1 dead roll into effect res. This is a solid piece. I wouldn't change this, honestly. The attack percent's nice. The speed, you don't need it, but it's good. And then the crit rate is what's getting you to 100%, so you don't have to change that either. All in all, a very nice piece. Then we have speed boots with crit rate, crit damage, and flat attack, and a hit flat attack once, which is fine. And then we have solid rolls into crit rate and crit damage. Very good boots. Boots are a very hard piece to get right, especially speed boots, so I'd say this is a good piece. We're on an attack percent orb, which I actually think is a good choice because you have so much freaking damage percent in combat that I think it would be diminishing returns at that point. So I'd say the attack percent orb is actually the right move here. And you do have very solid rolls here. You got 2 into crit rate, you got 1 into speed, and then flat attack as well is good value. So you really have the 4 stats here that you would want on an attack percent orb. You have all 4 useful stats. The 1 roll into flat attack is a little unfortunate, but I mean, it's close to perfect anyways. I wouldn't change that either. And then you have an attack percent rope. This is probably your worst piece, just because you have 2 dead rolls into flat defense with HP percent. So you have 2 dead stats and then also 2 dead rolls. Crit rate and crit damage roll are nice, and it's nice that it has crit rate and crit damage, but your rope would be the one thing I could say you could improve if you wanted to get your Saber and even higher up. But you would want your rolls to go once into crit rate and then a couple into crit damage because you're already at 100% crit rate, and we don't want to be overcapping. So your room for improvement is slim because there's only really 1 stat that you want. In fact, I would even say that you could lose some of your speed rolls and then you would still be getting more value if they go into crit damage. But all in all, it's a very solid build. You don't have to change anything. I just know that you're a Saber main and that you want to, I know you want to have the best Saber. So I would focus on the rope if you are trying to improve her. And I mean, as much as like this is unfortunate, the only way you could really improve this piece is if you have like a 4-liner with crit damage again and it all goes crit damage. Or sorry, if you have a 4-liner and it all goes crit damage, because this was a 3-liner. So there's a few things that you could improve, but it is a very solid build all around, and it definitely shows your dedication to Saber. So good submission. Let's take a look at us Evanescia. Right off the bat, perfect 100% crit rate. That is so satisfying. Very solid amount of crit damage. Your speed is good, honestly. I don't like too much speed on Evanescia because when she takes too many actions, she actually loses certified banger stacks. So like when I was originally running domains to get Evanescia pieces, I was trying to get her as fast as possible. I was even farming an eagle set on the side for her because like I wanted a really speedy Evanescia, just to find out that that was like completely useless. So this speed I think is perfectly fine. I think this is a healthy speed to be at. 134 is where I'd say most Evanescia should probably be at. You could even make an argument for base speed, but she gets like no benefits from attack percent boots that at that point is kind of like why even bother? So I think this is perfectly fine. And obviously 100% crit rate is very satisfying. But let's take a look at your pieces here. We have 2 dead rolls on your hat, but it was a 4-liner, so you're not losing as much as you could be because you have 3 good rolls into crit rate and crit damage. Crit rate and crit damage are really the only stats you're looking for on her, mainly crit damage as well because she can overcap so easily. I mean, I'm glad you hit exactly 70 to get her to 100 because otherwise you would be overcapped. So yeah, it looks like your rolls went well there. All good rolls on her gloves. Again, you got the 2 stats that she wants, crit rate and crit damage, and you rolled all of them. Only thing that could change is if this was a 4-liner. So yeah, great piece. Your body rolled 3 times into crit rate, once into speed and once into flat defense. The fact this was a 4-liner and that you hit crit 3 times is honestly really impressive because hitting bodies 4-liners on crit that many times is very rare. It's hard to hit the same stat over and over, especially the one that you want. So I would say this is a very solid body piece. Your boots here are pretty good as well. You know, you missed 1 roll, but that's okay. It's still the 2 stats that she wants and you have them again. So crit rate, crit damage, and you hit crit damage twice, crit rate once, and you miss 1. That's fine. It wasn't a 4-liner, but it is what it is. Boots are hard in the first place. I would say these are perfectly fine to keep as well. So I'd say your 4-piece is honestly really solid. I don't think you have to do any more farming. It's very good as is. Let's take a look at your planners. Attack percent sphere, I think, is perfectly fine. You can quite literally run like any main stat on her because they're all no diff. In fact, I'm more of a fan of having survivability on her. I like HP percent because she just does not benefit from attack and physical like at all. It's like a 1%, 2% diff. It's like nothing. You did miss some rolls here. You actually missed 3 of your rolls on a 4-liner, which is a little unfortunate. You would really only want them to be going into crit damage though, because you're already at 100% crit rate. So re-rolling this would be extremely risky. But it's definitely the piece that I think could have the most improvement just because you missed so many of your rolls. And then we have a juicy energy regen rope here. 4 hits into crit on an energy regen rope 4-liner is an incredible feat. Energy regen ropes are the hardest piece to farm in the game. It is like the rarest main stat that you can get. So the fact that you hit this, the fact that you hit crit that many times and it was a 4-liner is insanely good. This is a very good Evanescia rope. Far, far better than the rope that I have on mine. My Evanescia's rope sucks. So this is a very, very good piece. I would not change this. The one dead roll, who even gives a crap? This is very good. Overall, a very, very solid Evanescia build. I think that you do not have to farm anymore for this. This is very good as is, and especially because you're at 100% crit rate, you don't have to change anything. Right off the bat, we have Mr. Man himself, finalist from yesterday in our gauntlet. We have Phainon. We're running him with an E2 Sunday, E1 Tribby, and E2 Siren, and it is an E2 Phainon. So this is a pretty high investment Phainon team, right? He's going to be doing a lot of damage. Right off the bat, we see that he is 119.4. I would like this if you are running him with a hyperspeed Sunday. But since you have E2 Siren, you are going to be getting stacked up a lot faster, though, and getting him into ult. So it's not a huge deal. But whatever the case, I think the speed is fine. You've got a ton of attack in combat. Are you running? You're still running a physical orb. Okay, good. Let's take a look at these pieces. Holy shit. Okay, we have a 3-liner that hit all crit rate. So 4 crit rate rolls giving 15.2% crit rate. And another one on the gloves also giving 15.2% crit rate. You have 30.4% crit rate just between your hat and your gloves, dude. What? You're only 3.8 over too. You're able to run a crit damage body because you're getting 30% crit from your hat and your gloves. You are literally getting you're literally getting almost a body main stat worth of crit rate on your 2 like easy pieces. That is insane. And you even have a missed roll here. You could actually get the other crit rate roll to get a body's worth of crit rate. That is so insane. Okay, that is really funny. I like that a lot, actually. Your body, on the other hand, actually is missing some of its value. You could get these other 2 rolls into attack percent. You don't have to, though. Like, I actually think with how much attack you have, you really don't need it. And you don't need more crit rate either because you have 100%. You actually have more than that. So, like, yeah, this body is ranked low, but I really don't think that farming more of it or like re-rolling it would even be worth it. You're not going to get much of a damage increase, honestly. Attack percent boots, I don't hate it. I think you could argue speed and then do like a -1 Sunday over a 134 Phainon because you're at pretty much the speed to do it. You actually are. If you have 25 speed here, you're at 119. You would literally have 134 point, I think it's 6 because I think it's 25. No, it's 25.02. So you'd be at 134.4. You'd literally be at the perfect speed. You would actually, yeah, and then your Sunday could be 133.4. You would literally have the perfect setup. So consider that if you actually do want to run a -1 Sunday. I don't know how your rotation looks to get your Phainon into ult. If it's fine, then don't even worry about it. I don't have enough gameplay with Phainon and E2 Siren and E2 Sunday with Tribby. I don't think I've ever even played this setup. I really don't like playing Sunday and Siren together, honestly, with Phainon. But if you're getting into ult then without any problems, then don't even worry about it. But if you do want to have like a smoother rotation, I think that that's definitely something you could focus on. But I still think that your build is really solid as is. This is a very, very good orb as well. You have 3 useful stats. The effect res doesn't matter because, I mean, it looks like you don't really care about speed. And you hit all crit. So very good there. And you have a very strong rope as well, hitting all crit here as well, and attack percent is the main stat, so obviously you can't have it as a substat. Very, very good Phainon build overall. It's very clear that you care about Phainon, so very, very solid build. I really, really like your hat and glove combo of 15.2% crit rate each. I will try to slow it down a bit. Holy shit, wait, what? What the fuck? Wait, guys, their lowest piece rating is 50.6. This is a 180% combat skims DPS score. This is the highest score I've ever seen on any build. What? I mean, okay, I'm not trying to discredit their build when I say this. I know that Silverwolf is one of the easier characters to hit AEON on, but this is ridiculous. This is like a perfect build territory. This is very, very close to perfect build territory. They have 0 dead stats. I'm seeing this right away. They have 0 dead stats. Everything is a 4-liner except for the rope. Okay, wow, this is the best Silverwolf build I've ever seen. I'll start by saying that. You're at 250 speed already. That's great. Obviously, you're hitting the 100 crit rate. Why wouldn't you be? And you have the perfect team for you. You have an E6 Sparxie, wholly based. E2 Yang Wang is perfect because you're getting that speed. And an E2 Hyacinth, so you're getting even more speed. And then, of course, E6 S5 Silverwolf. I would hope that E6 S5 Silverwolves have a good build. This goes beyond that, though. This is an insane build. Let's take a look at your pieces and give you the attention you deserve. Obviously, you hit all of your stats on all of your pieces. So we hit speed once, crit rate once, and crit damage 3 times. No dead stats, and you have all useful stats. Same exact story here, except you hit speed 3 times, crit rate, crit damage. Your body has perfect rolls as well as a 4-liner and the perfect stats. This is probably the most impressive piece I've seen from your build so far, because this is very hard to achieve. The boots are also just as equally impressive. You did the same thing on both. It's just, I think hitting a body is harder to do than boots. Both are impressive for different reasons. You have slightly more stat roll value here, and that's why you're getting a slightly higher score, but these pieces are both just ridiculous. Attack percent orb, it does not matter. She doesn't really care about the main stat. The only thing you're changing with that is survivability if you get HP or defense. So I would always use this piece where you have perfect rolls and perfect stats instead, which you're doing. And the exact same thing here. You have every stat she wants on every piece that you have, and you have every single roll going into the stats that she wants. This is an insane build. This is a ridiculous build. Watch them say they never used any dice. If there is no dice used in this build, then this is like a dev account. There's no way this isn't a dev account if there aren't dice used in this build. This is a resonant dice build for sure. Because my best builds are resonant dice builds, and I'm still like probably 23% below this, 22% below this. Like this is ridiculous. Very, very nice build. Very, very nice build. Sparxie, my beloved. 102.1, 136. I actually like to see that. I'm glad that you gave her some speed. You are very over on the attack you need with Huohuo on the team, so you could change this to ER rope if you want to. It's entirely up to you. Sorry, it's because you also have Sparkle on the same team. That's why you have so much attack percent. So yeah, I would change this to an ER rope with this setup specifically. And you don't need to be running Lushaka on Yao Guang if that's the case as well. You could run a Von Walk there and get her going faster. And you could do like a Keel on your Sparkle because you just have so much attack. She does not need this much attack. But calculate it with the changes I recommend it. If taking this rope away brings her down to the threshold or below it, then you might need to change in other areas. So just make sure you're calculating that properly if you care about that. Solid hat. You have all 4 stats that you'd want aside from speed, but you already had a speed threshold, so it's fine. And you hit attack percent once, crit rate 3 times. I like those. Those are good. Decent gloves. You missed 1 roll and you have 2 dead stats. So 1 dead roll, 2 dead stats. Gloves are obviously able to be improved because they're gloves. They're easy to farm. Your body is pretty solid. 2 dead rolls, but it's a 4-liner, so you get crit twice and speed once. I don't dislike it. Sorry, I have such bad acid reflux tonight too. What a horrible night for me to be doing this. Yeah, so this isn't bad. Boots are pretty good, honestly. Attack percent twice, crit damage twice. It was a 4-liner, and you hit effect once, so not bad. Your orb missing twice is unfortunate on a 3-liner, especially because these are the only 2 stats you'd really want. You missed both of them, so obviously your orb could be improved, but I still think you have a well-rounded Sparxie build as it is, so it's not really a big deal. It sucks that I said you could replace your rope with an ER because your rope is actually really nice. This is a really good rope. 4-liner and you hit crit 4 times. It's very good. You don't have to change it. I mean, this is great to use when you're playing her with your Silver Wolf and you're not going to be getting nearly as much attack. But when you're running her as like a main DPS team with your Sparkle and Huohuo, you don't need this much attack. So whether you change that here or at least change these Lushakas to be different planner sets, at least that could be somewhat of a difference. You don't need that much attack percent, but still very, very well-rounded build for Sparxie. I like this one. I'm so tired, guys. I did not realize how much I would expend my voice doing this. We have FrogPuncher's Acheron that he's very proud of. I know he's an Acheron main, so I will be looking at this and seeing what we have here. 133.8, he is at the speed threshold here. Let's take a look at what he's running here. E1 Tribby, E2 Silver Wolf, and an E0 S1 Don Hung, and his E6 S3. I think he's going for S5 on a rerun. Your hat is pretty solid. You hit all the stats you want here. The only critique I have is that it's a 3-liner instead of a 4-liner, but it's still a very good piece. And this one was a 4-liner and you hit all the stats you wanted, so this is even better. Yeah, your gloves are very good. I like your gloves a lot. Very, very solid body. Wow, this is a really good body piece. 3 and a crit, 2 and attack percent on a 4-liner, and you also have the speed on here. This is a super nice body piece. Very, very good. Boots too, very nice. Only change I would say obviously is this was a 4-liner, but you even have the flat attack here, which rounds it up a bit more too. Yeah, very nice rolls there as well. 1 flat defense miss on your orb is okay. I mean, you still have 3 rolls into attack percent and crit rate, and you have the crit damage as well. I think it's a pretty solid orb still because orbs are just hard to hit on. So yeah, really, really solid orb still. And your rope, pretty good too, because you have 4 rolls into good stats, and this is actually helping you hit the speed threshold that you're at right now with a 133.4 because you're at a 133.8. So this speed roll actually matters. It's nice to see speed rolls that matter, guys. Like, so this is actually quite good. I would not change this. You are a little bit under 100. That's my only critique of this, but this is still a very, very good build. I really like your body piece, and I really like your boots. These are both really solid pieces. Overall, a very, very good Acheron build. Honkai style, they make it pretty easy to get 100% crit on most of the recent DPS, so it's kind of just a given to go for it. With characters like Silverwolf even having it built into her kit. Recreated your Castorice crit value with my own pieces. Wait, no way. 73 point. Wait, did that? Wait. What? Holy shit. Guys, he made my Castorice crit value with his build. it's literally he recreated my crit value with his build. Holy, that's impressive in its own right. What the heck? He got the exact decimal points down. Literally 1-for-1 decimal the crit rate and crit damage on his pieces to match my Castorice. Okay. Well, I tip my hat to you for that, because that is awesome. That is super cool. I didn't even put this in here. Like, I just put this in here as an example. That's crazy that you went and did that. That is so cool. Plot twist, he copied the screenshot? No, he didn't, because it's a completely different build. We have very different pieces. He has a HP orb and E2 and different team setup and different UID, but it's very cool. Let's take a look. Very, very good hat. You know, 4-liner, you hit all 3 stats. You hit all 3 stats you want, and you hit all of them, so it's very good. Very solid gloves as well. No HP percent, but it's fine. You still hit all crit. Solid body, because you already have the max crit rate, so hitting the HP here is very nice. The 1 flat HP is a little sad, but it is what it is. 2 missed rolls on your boots. I should knock you for, but since you're going to match my exact crit value, I can't really say anything bad about that, so good work there. Same thing with your orb, 1 miss, but you did this to copy me, and holy, this is an insane rope. Very, very nice rope. I am so impressed that you were able to copy my crit stats to the T. This is definitely getting one of my stamps of approval. Oh, guys, I'm so tired.